Master Your Emotions by Thibaut Meurisse. Introduction. Imagine a life where your emotions don't control you, but instead, you control them. In Master Your Emotions, Thibaut Meurisse guides you through the transformative process of understanding and mastering your feelings. The central theme of this book is about recognizing the patterns that influence your emotional state and learning how to take charge of your emotional life, leading to greater peace, happiness, and fulfillment. Thibaut Meurisse, a self-help author passionate about personal growth and self-mastery, presents practical strategies to help you deal with negative emotions and build emotional resilience. This summary will give you a solid understanding of his key teachings. However, this is just an overview, and I encourage you to read the full book for deeper insights and practical exercises that can truly change your life. Chapter 1. Understanding Emotions. Emotions are an inseparable part of your human experience. They affect every aspect of your life, from how you perceive the world to the decisions you make daily. In Master Your Emotions, Thibaut Meurisse emphasizes that emotions aren't random or uncontrollable forces that sweep you away. Instead, they are powerful signals trying to tell you something. When you understand that your emotions are closely tied to your thoughts and beliefs, you can start taking the first steps toward emotional mastery. Think of emotions as feedback. For example, when you feel anxious, it's your body's way of telling you that you perceive a threat or something feels out of control. When you're angry, it usually means you feel violated or disrespected in some way. By understanding what emotions are trying to communicate, you gain an awareness that puts you in the driver's seat. You become less likely to react impulsively and more capable of responding intentionally. So, how exactly do emotions form? At the heart of every emotion is a thought. Your mind interprets events, and these interpretations trigger your emotional responses. If you believe you're in danger, you feel fear. If you think someone is treating you unfairly, you feel anger. Your emotions are essentially the result of the stories you tell yourself. This is why two people can experience the same situation in completely different ways. They interpret the event differently. To master your emotions, you need to pay attention to these underlying thoughts. Awareness is the key. If you often feel a particular negative emotion, ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? The answer might surprise you. Maybe you have a hidden belief about not being good enough or a fear that has gone unaddressed. By bringing these beliefs into the light, you can begin the process of changing them. Take sadness, for instance. Imagine feeling deeply sad because a friend cancelled plans at the last minute. Your automatic reaction might be to dwell on feelings of rejection or abandonment. But if you dig deeper, you might realize that the sadness comes from a belief that you're not valued or loved. Once you become aware of this thought pattern, you can start to question its validity. Is it really true that your friend doesn't care about you, or are you misinterpreting the situation? Chapter 2. The Power of Awareness. Awareness is the foundation of mastering your emotions. Without it, your feelings control you, making you react impulsively. Thibaut Meurisse emphasizes that awareness is your greatest ally in regaining control over your emotional life. When you're aware, you create a gap between stimulus and response, a crucial pause that allows you to choose your next move instead of reacting automatically. Imagine that someone cuts you off in traffic. If you're not aware of your emotions, you may immediately react with anger, honking and shouting. But with awareness, you notice the surge of irritation rising within you and consciously choose how to respond. This gap, however brief, gives you power. You may still feel annoyed, but you don't let it dictate your behavior. This is the essence of emotional mastery, responding with intention rather than reacting with impulse. How do you cultivate this powerful awareness? Meditation and mindfulness practices are two highly effective tools that Meurisse discusses. Meditation is a practice where you learn to observe your thoughts and emotions without attaching to them. It's like training your mind to recognize feelings as they arise and let them pass without judgment. Over time, meditation increases your ability to stay present and aware in challenging situations. Mindfulness, on the other hand, is the art of being fully engaged in the present moment. When you're mindful, you pay attention to your thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations. This practice makes you more aware of how your emotions fluctuate throughout the day. Instead of getting lost in a spiral of negative thoughts, you notice when a particular feeling arises. For example, if you start feeling anxious during a meeting, you might realize that your mind is worrying about what others think of you. This awareness gives you the chance to redirect your thoughts and soothe your emotions. Think of awareness as a flashlight in a dark room. When you shine that light on your emotional patterns, they become less intimidating and easier to understand. Awareness reveals how often your mind gets trapped in repetitive negative loops, such as worrying about the future or regretting the past. These mental habits can keep you stuck in a cycle of negative emotions, but once you're aware of them, you can begin to break free. Chapter 3. Identifying your triggers. One of the biggest obstacles to emotional mastery is your emotional triggers. These are events, people, or situations that provoke intense emotional reactions in you. Thibaut Meurisse explains that identifying your triggers is essential if you want to gain control over your emotions. The more you know about what sets you off, the better prepared you are to respond calmly and thoughtfully. Triggers often stem from unresolved past experiences or deep-seated beliefs about yourself and the world. For example, if a parent criticized you harshly as a child, you might still feel anxious or defensive when someone questions your abilities as an adult. Your reaction isn't just about the present moment. It's also about the emotional residue from your past. Identifying these patterns can be the first step toward healing. So, how do you identify your triggers? Start by paying attention to situations that evoke strong emotional reactions. Notice the times when you feel overwhelmed, angry, or hurt. Keep a journal if it helps, writing down the events and emotions that arise. Over time, you'll start to see patterns. Maybe you realize that you feel anxious whenever you're around people who remind you of someone who hurt you, or perhaps you feel intense frustration when someone disregards your opinion. Once you've identified a trigger, dig deeper to understand the underlying belief or fear. Let's say you get upset when your partner doesn't text you back right away. Upon closer inspection, you might discover a fear of abandonment or a belief that you're not lovable. This deeper understanding is crucial because it allows you to address the root cause rather than just the surface emotion. Understanding your triggers doesn't mean you'll never feel emotional again. However, it does give you the power to manage your reactions more effectively. The next time someone or something pushes your buttons, you'll be aware of what's happening internally. Instead of getting lost in a whirlwind of emotions, you can pause, breathe, and remind yourself that your reaction is based on an old story that may no longer serve you. Practical strategies for dealing with triggers include self-compassion and reframing your thoughts. When a trigger arises, be gentle with yourself. It's natural to feel vulnerable when old wounds resurface. Remind yourself that you're doing the best you can, and it's okay to feel upset. Then, try to reframe the situation. Instead of thinking, "This person is disrespecting me," consider, "This person is having a bad day, and it's not about me." This shift in perspective can help you respond from a place of calm rather than defensiveness. Chapter 4. Reprogramming your mind. Your mind is like a computer, running programs formed from years of experiences, beliefs, and repeated thoughts. These programs influence how you feel and act, often without you even realizing it. Thibaut Meurisse explains that to master your emotions, you need to update your mental software. This involves replacing outdated or negative thought patterns with empowering and constructive ones. The process of reprogramming your mind starts with recognizing the beliefs that no longer serve you. For instance, if you often feel anxious about making decisions, there might be a belief deep down that you're incapable or that making a mistake is catastrophic. Once you become aware of these limiting beliefs, you can begin to challenge and replace them. One effective way to reprogram your mind is through affirmations. These are positive statements that reinforce the thoughts and beliefs you want to adopt. If you struggle with feelings of unworthiness, you might use affirmations like, "I am worthy of love and respect," or "I trust myself to make the right decisions." The key to making affirmations work is repetition and genuine feeling. It's not just about saying the words. You have to feel the truth of them in your body and heart. Another powerful technique is visualization. Visualization works because your brain doesn't distinguish much between real and imagined experiences. When you visualize positive outcomes and imagine yourself succeeding or feeling confident, your brain starts to believe it. This practice creates new neural pathways, helping you feel more empowered and emotionally resilient over time. Spend a few minutes every day picturing your ideal self, how you would act, feel, and think if you were the person you aspire to be. Reprogramming your mind also involves challenging negative thoughts when they arise. This is called cognitive reframing. Let's say you think, "I always mess things up." Instead of accepting that thought as truth, question it. Is it really accurate? Can you think of times when you succeeded? By reframing your thoughts, you shift your perspective and open yourself up to more empowering emotional states. For example, you might change, "I always mess things up," to "I've made mistakes in the past, but I've also learned from them and grown stronger." Another practical exercise is to monitor the information you consume. Your environment, including what you read, watch, and listen to, affects your emotions and mindset. If you constantly surround yourself with negativity, your mind will absorb those messages, reinforcing anxiety and pessimism. Instead, fill your mind with content that inspires and uplifts you. This could mean reading motivational books, listening to empowering podcasts, or spending time with people who have a positive influence on you. Chapter 5. The Power of Focus. What you focus on has a significant impact on how you feel. If you're constantly focused on what's wrong or missing in your life, you'll experience negative emotions like stress, anxiety, or frustration. However, if you choose to focus on what's good and what you can control, you'll feel more empowered and at peace. Thibaut Meurisse emphasizes that learning to direct your focus intentionally can dramatically improve your emotional well-being. Your brain is wired to notice threats and problems as a survival mechanism. While this was useful for our ancestors, it often causes unnecessary stress today. For instance, if you receive 10 compliments and 1 criticism, your mind will likely dwell on the negative comment. But you have the power to shift your focus. By training your mind to see the positives, you can change your emotional experience. One of the most effective ways to shift your focus is by practicing gratitude. Gratitude redirects your attention from lack to abundance, from problems to blessings. Every day, take a moment to reflect on what you're grateful for. It could be as simple as a sunny day, a delicious meal, or the support of a loved one. When you focus on the good, your brain releases feel-good chemicals like dopamine and serotonin, lifting your mood almost instantly. Another strategy is to practice solution-focused thinking. Instead of getting stuck on problems, ask yourself, what's one thing I can do to improve this situation? This approach shifts your mind from a state of helplessness to one of action and possibility. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed by work, focus on one small task you can complete rather than worrying about everything you have to do. This sense of progress, even if small, can reduce stress and boost your motivation. Visualization is also a helpful tool for focusing on positive outcomes. Spend a few minutes each day imagining yourself achieving your goals or handling a challenging situation with grace and confidence. See it, feel it, and immerse yourself in the experience. This mental rehearsal prepares your brain to act as if you've already succeeded, boosting your self-confidence and emotional resilience. It's important to recognize that shifting your focus doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. Instead, it's about choosing what deserves your energy and attention. You can acknowledge difficulties without letting them dominate your thoughts. For instance, if you're facing a financial challenge, you can recognize the struggle but focus on actionable steps to improve your situation, like creating a budget or seeking new opportunities. Chapter 6. Changing your physiology. Your body and mind are intricately connected, and your physical state can significantly influence your emotions. Thibaut Meurisse highlights that changing your physiology is one of the simplest and most effective ways to alter your emotional state. When you change how you move and breathe, you can experience a noticeable shift in how you feel. Consider how you sit or stand when you're feeling down or anxious. You're likely slouched, your head is down, and your breathing is shallow. This posture sends signals to your brain that something is wrong, reinforcing feelings of sadness or anxiety. On the other hand, when you stand tall, breathe deeply, and smile, you send a message to your brain that you're safe, strong, and in control. This simple change can boost your mood almost instantly. One powerful way to change your physiology is through deep breathing. When you're stressed or anxious, your body's fight-or-flight response kicks in, causing your breathing to become rapid and shallow. Taking slow, deep breaths activates your parasympathetic nervous system, calming your mind and body. Try the following exercise. Inhale deeply for 4 counts, hold your breath for 4 counts, and then exhale for 4 counts. Repeat this a few times, and you'll feel your body start to relax. Exercise is another effective way to improve your emotional state. Physical activity releases endorphins, which are natural mood elevators. Even a short walk can make a big difference. If you're feeling angry or frustrated, intense exercise like running or lifting weights can help you release pent-up energy and feel more balanced. If you're feeling low or lethargic, gentle movements like yoga or stretching can energize you. The key is to listen to your body and find what works for you. Posture also plays a crucial role in how you feel. Practice standing or sitting with your shoulders back and your head held high. This power posture can make you feel more confident and in control. Studies have shown that even holding a confident pose for a couple of minutes can reduce stress and increase feelings of empowerment. So, the next time you're feeling unsure or anxious, try adopting a power posture and see how it affects your mood. Your facial expressions are another aspect of your physiology that influence your emotions. Even if you don't feel happy, the simple act of smiling can trick your brain into feeling more positive. This is known as the facial feedback hypothesis. When you smile, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, boosting your mood. It may feel silly at first, but smiling more often can have a profound impact on your emotional state. Chapter 7. Mastering your inner dialogue. Your inner dialogue, the continuous stream of thoughts running through your mind, shapes how you see the world and how you feel. Thibaut Meurisse emphasizes that mastering this inner dialogue is essential for emotional mastery. If your self-talk is harsh and critical, you'll experience more negative emotions. But if you learn to speak to yourself with kindness and encouragement, your emotional landscape will transform. Think about how you talk to yourself when you make a mistake. Do you say things like, "I'm such an idiot," or "I always mess things up"? If so, you're reinforcing negative beliefs about yourself, which lead to feelings of shame, frustration, or hopelessness. Imagine how a friend would feel if you spoke to them this way. You'd never dream of being so cruel to someone you care about, so why do it to yourself? The first step to mastering your inner dialogue is to become aware of it. Start paying attention to the thoughts you have throughout the day, especially when you're feeling upset or anxious. Notice any recurring patterns or phrases. Once you're aware of your negative self-talk, you can begin to challenge and change it. Ask yourself, is this thought true? Often, you'll realize that your mind exaggerates or distorts reality. Replace negative statements with more balanced or supportive ones. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, "I'll never be good enough," reframe it to, "I'm a work in progress and I'm learning every day." Or instead of saying, "I can't do this, try, this is challenging, but I can figure it out." It may feel unnatural at first, but with practice, positive self-talk will become more automatic. Meurisse also suggests using affirmations to reprogram your mind. Choose affirmations that resonate with you and repeat them daily. For instance, if you struggle with self-doubt, you might say, "I am capable and strong." If you often feel anxious, try, "I am calm and in control." The key is to say these affirmations with feeling, as if you truly believe them. Over time, they will help reshape your beliefs and influence your emotions. Another important aspect of mastering your inner dialogue is practicing self-compassion. Life is full of ups and downs, and everyone makes mistakes. Instead of beating yourself up when things go wrong, treat yourself with understanding. Remind yourself that it's okay to struggle and that your worth isn't tied to your achievements. Self-compassion doesn't mean making excuses. It means acknowledging your humanity and giving yourself the grace to grow. Chapter 8. Letting Go of Past Hurts. Letting go of past hurts is one of the most difficult yet liberating steps in mastering your emotions. Thibaut Meurisse explains that holding on to emotional pain from the past is like carrying a heavy backpack everywhere you go. It weighs you down, drains your energy, and prevents you from fully enjoying the present. The art of letting go isn't about pretending that painful experiences didn't happen or that they don't matter. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional burden they carry. First, understand that holding on to pain often feels justified. You might think that if you let go, you're somehow excusing the behavior that hurt you or allowing it to happen again. But in reality, holding on to anger or resentment only hurts you, not the person who wronged you. Letting go is a gift you give yourself. It's an act of self-compassion that says, "I deserve peace, regardless of what happened." One of the most powerful tools for letting go is forgiveness. Forgiveness doesn't mean you condone the hurtful actions or that you need to reconcile with the person who hurt you. It simply means releasing the hold that the pain has over you. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional prison of resentment. Consider someone who betrayed you. By holding on to the betrayal, you allow that person's actions to continue to affect your emotional well-being. But when you choose to forgive, you reclaim your power. Meurisse suggests a practical exercise. Write a letter to the person who hurt you. Pour out your emotions, explain how you felt, and express your pain fully. Then, end the letter with words of forgiveness, even if it feels hard or unnatural. You don't have to send this letter. It's for you, a way to release pent-up emotions and finally let go. Acceptance is another crucial part of the letting go process. Accept that the past cannot be changed, and that the only thing you have control over is your present and future. This doesn't mean you have to be happy about what happened. It simply means acknowledging that it's part of your story and choosing to move forward. Acceptance allows you to heal, even if the scars remain. Letting go also involves changing your relationship with your memories. When you think about a painful experience, notice how your body reacts. Do you tense up? Does your heart race? Your body often relives the pain as if it's happening in the present. To break this cycle, practice grounding techniques. Take deep breaths, feel your feet on the ground, and remind yourself that you are safe now. This helps your body realize that the threat is no longer present and allows you to calm down. It's important to note that letting go is a process, not a one-time event. You may need to revisit and work through old hurts multiple times before you feel fully free. And that's okay. Healing isn't linear, and it's normal to have setbacks. What matters is your willingness to keep trying. Be gentle with yourself, and acknowledge the progress you've made, no matter how small. Chapter 9. Understanding Emotional Needs. Understanding your emotional needs is a key aspect of mastering your emotions. Emotions often arise from unmet needs, and when you learn to recognize and meet these needs in a healthy way, you gain greater emotional stability. Thibaut Meurisse explains that many of the negative emotions you experience are signals from your subconscious mind, telling you that something important is missing. The challenge is to interpret these signals and find constructive ways to address your needs. For example, if you often feel lonely, the underlying need might be for connection and belonging. If you feel anxious, you might have a need for safety or control. By identifying these needs, you can take proactive steps to fulfill them. The first step is to become aware of the emotions you're feeling and ask yourself, what do I really need right now? This simple question can reveal powerful insights. Take the example of feeling stressed at work. You might initially think it's because of a specific project, but when you dig deeper, you realize the stress comes from a need for recognition or support. Once you've identified this need, you can look for ways to address it. Maybe you can have a conversation with your manager about your workload or seek support from a mentor. By addressing the root cause, you'll notice a significant improvement in your emotional state. Sometimes, however, your needs may be difficult or impossible to meet immediately. In these cases, self-soothing techniques can help you manage your emotions until you find a longer-term solution. For instance, if you crave connection but can't be with loved ones, you might practice self-compassion or engage in activities that bring you comfort, like reading or taking a warm bath. It's about finding ways to care for yourself in the moment. Meurisse also emphasizes the importance of understanding the difference between wants and needs. Wants are often surface-level desires that may or may not bring lasting happiness. Needs, on the other hand, are deeper and more fundamental. For example, you might think you need a new car to feel happy, but the underlying need might actually be for freedom or status. By understanding the true need, you can find healthier and more sustainable ways to fulfill it. It's also crucial to recognize that some emotional needs can't be met by external sources. For instance, the need for self-worth or validation must come from within. No amount of praise or external achievements will satisfy this need if you don't believe in your own value. Building self-esteem and self-acceptance is an ongoing process, but it's one of the most rewarding investments you can make in your emotional health. Chapter 10. The Role of Habits. Habits shape your emotional landscape more than you might realize. Your daily routines and repeated behaviors have a powerful impact on your feelings, often operating below your conscious awareness. Thibaut Meurisse emphasizes that if you want to master your emotions, you must first examine the habits that contribute to your emotional state, and then work to replace unhelpful habits with ones that uplift you. Think about the habits you currently have and how they make you feel. If you have a habit of checking your phone first thing in the morning, it might set a tone of stress or distraction for the rest of the day. If you often complain about your problems, you're reinforcing a habit of focusing on the negative, which leads to more negative emotions. The good news is that habits are changeable, and by making small, intentional adjustments, you can significantly improve your emotional well-being. The first step is to identify which habits are draining you emotionally and which ones are supporting you. For example, do you have a habit of overthinking and dwelling on worst-case scenarios? If so, this habit likely contributes to feelings of anxiety and stress. Or maybe you have a habit of procrastinating, which brings on guilt and pressure. Recognizing these patterns is key to breaking the cycle and introducing new, positive habits. Once you've identified your unhelpful habits, it's time to replace them with healthier alternatives. Let's say you have a habit of scrolling through social media late at night, which disrupts your sleep and leaves you feeling tired and irritable the next day. You can replace this habit with a calming bedtime routine, like reading a book, meditating, or practicing deep breathing. These simple changes can have a profound effect on how you feel each morning. Another powerful habit for emotional mastery is practicing gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking in your life to what you already have, creating a sense of abundance and contentment. Start a daily gratitude journal where you write down 3 things you're grateful for. This habit rewires your brain to notice and appreciate the positive aspects of your life, lifting your mood and promoting a more optimistic outlook. Mindfulness is another habit that can greatly benefit your emotional health. By practicing mindfulness, you become more present and aware of your emotions. Instead of getting swept away by negative feelings, you learn to observe them calmly and respond thoughtfully. Even a few minutes of mindful breathing or meditation each day can strengthen your ability to stay grounded and in control of your emotions. Physical habits, like exercise and nutrition, also play a crucial role in how you feel. Regular exercise releases endorphins, the brain's natural mood boosters, and reduces stress hormones like cortisol. You don't need to run marathons. Even a short walk or gentle stretching can improve your emotional state. Similarly, fueling your body with nutritious food gives you more energy and mental clarity, making it easier to manage stress and maintain a positive mood. Conclusion. Master Your Emotions by Thibaut Meurisse is a powerful guide that empowers you to take control of your emotional well-being and live a more fulfilling life. Throughout the book, you've explored practical strategies to understand, manage, and transform your emotions. By developing self-awareness, mastering your inner dialogue, and cultivating habits that support emotional health, you're equipped to navigate life's challenges with resilience and grace. The journey to emotional mastery is not about never experiencing negative emotions. It's about learning to respond to them in a healthy and constructive way. You've learned the importance of embracing vulnerability, setting boundaries, and practicing self-compassion. These practices remind you that being human means feeling deeply, and that's perfectly okay. Your emotions are valid, but they don't have to control you. Living with purpose, practicing gratitude, and visualizing your ideal future all contribute to a more positive and balanced emotional state. By focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you can't, you gain the freedom to live more peacefully. Remember that building emotional resilience is a continuous process, and each step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to a stronger and more balanced self.